Hello, I'm Brian Johnson. I'm here with Rosie Hill, one of the speakers at the Fruit of Forgiveness Conference that's happening here in Kansas City at Kansas City Baptist Temple on April 15th and 16th. Hello, Ms. Hill.
Hello, Brian.
Good to see you. It's good to be here. I had a couple of questions for you about this Fruit of Forgiveness Conference. First of all, when did this start?
Well, about 2002, I was at a crossroad in my life, and I was kind of thinking about what I needed to do for my future. And I had made some decisions about some sort of academic endeavor, and what I came up with was that I wanted to talk about something that could help in relationships. And a term came to my mind, neurotheology. And I was like, oh my, what is that all about? And I realized that lots of people know about the Lord, they know about God, that's theology, and then there's other people that know a lot about science, that's neuro, as in like neurology, the brain. And I thought the problem is that some people don't realize that the part that they don't know could keep them from being everything that they needed to be for God. And that what needed to happen is the two needed to be combined, married if you will, in order for them to understand how to help the relationships.
Neurotheology, that's an interesting term. You just mentioned that neuro has to do with the brain and theology has to do with God. How are you able to match those things together? What do you know about the brain versus God and putting those things together?
Well, first of all, I know about God because I accepted Jesus Christ as Savior when I was 7 years old. And I know about the brain because I am a neurodiagnostic technologist. I have obtained 3 national certifications in neurodiagnostic medicine. And so for many years I have worked with problems related to the brain. In that, I have seen on many, many occasions problems with the brain that's not from a physiological standpoint, nor from an anatomical standpoint. That is to say, there's nothing abnormal about their brain, there's nothing grossly a problem with their brain, but there's a problem in the way the connections work, in the way that they think.
That's interesting. I think a lot of people have never thought about the possibility of the brain itself causing problems with forgiveness. That sounds like an interesting thing having to do with this conference. Why are you doing this? What's the purpose?
I'm doing it because I realize that so many people are, I'm going to use the term ignorant. And the reason I use that term, Brian, is because there's a lot of things that we don't know. And the problem is we don't know what we don't know. I also say it this way, there's a lot of problems with people who don't get it, but the bigger problem is they don't get that they don't get it. And so what happens when we don't understand what we don't know, then we leave ourselves open to be deceived. And I realize that's what's happening to relationships all over the world.
You know, I bet you have a lot of people that maybe say that they don't really need forgiveness, and I would imagine that it has something to do with people not knowing what they don't know. What would you say to someone who looks at you and says, well, you know, this conference is a nice thing, but it's not for me. I really don't need forgiveness?
Oh, Brian, I've actually had people say that. I don't really need it. As a matter of fact, I do pretty good in the area of forgiveness. And when I heard that, and I've heard it more than once, and more than once I've heard people who haven't really said they don't need this conference and they don't need forgiveness, but their actions tell me that they don't. What I know for sure is that they're believing a lie, because we all need forgiveness. That's why Jesus Christ died. And that was the most important thing to him. Brian, people don't understand there are 2 things that are the most important to God and to Jesus Christ. And that we need to make the things that are most important to us the most important things to him. And the whole reason he left heaven to come here and die is for 2 reasons. And every single thing in our life happens under those 2 reasons, and then we're on the right track. So if we understand that what he wants us to do is to love and to forgive, then everything else we do will fall in line and will please God.
Okay, okay. Well, I tell you, who are you trying to reach in this conference?
I'm trying to reach the world. This is not about Kansas City Baptist Temple. This is not about Kansas City, Missouri. This is not about us. This is not about my friends, my family, my associates, my co-workers. Jesus Christ died for the world. And this message that I want us to get across is to bring glory and honor to Him. Brian, Revelations 4:11 says that God created us to bring glory to Him. It's all about Him.
Well, I tell you, I've heard you refer to this as a movement, and I would definitely say that if you're trying to reach the world, that is more of a movement than just a conference itself. Hey, remember, this April 15th and 16th, we will have this Fruit of Forgiveness conference here at Kansas City Baptist Temple. If you want more information about that, you can check us out at kcbt.org. It'll give you all the information you need to know. Rosie Hill will be one of the speakers there. Thank you for being with us again today and answering some of the questions that we had for you. We'll see you there.